Sit back, grab a drink, and listen to Free Liquor.
Good afternoon to you. Welcome to Free Liquor. I'm your boy DY5199, the man that you love to hate but your daughter want to date and your son want to be like, you fucking bastards. And I'm here today with my two lovely co-hosts,
Jocelyn
and
Tony Foris.
And we also have two additional guests today to contribute to our topic of the day.
Troy.
And
Algo. Hey.
okay. Can you pronounce that for me one more time?
Algo como algo más. Algorithm without the rhythm.
Okay.
Algo.
Oh.
Folks, I'm going to be very honest with you. This is about to be an adventure. I'm going to be very honest with you. So once again, going back to our theme of misandry and misogyny ruining the community as a whole. Once again, you have to open your mindset, open your perspectives, and grow and gain a better view of the person next to you in order to make the community better. But with that being said, we got expensive champagne and shit talk for you. Hey!
Who wants some?
Right.
Everybody wants something.
Pass the cup. Now you want something?
Yeah, I want some.
You gotta get that first, huh? Here, this is his.
So before we talk about the first topic, we go toast it up. And my lovely co-host, Tony Childs here. Shout out to Tony Childs and Mickey Free. Troy though, I call his ass that shit all the time, Mickey Free. So yeah, Prince got this new bad little light-skinned singer. They didn't know that Mickey Free was a man.
Oh, wow.
You don't remember that for Dave Chappelle?
I do.
She was like looking at me now like, I hate your bitch ass. We'll get outside, I'm gonna swing on you.
I was good.
Alright, I'm good.
So, with that being said, the lovely Tony is going to introduce our first topic of the evening.
Okay, so I have three.
Okay.
We can start wherever we want to.
Let's go.
1, marry before you carry.
Okay.
Number 2, who's at fault for single mother households? Number 3, should men pay child support for kids they didn't want?
Let's start with number 3. Okay, so my honest opinion is this. The U.S. needs to adopt the laws that they have over in the EU, Canada, and certain parts of Asia where a man can apply for a financial abortion. If you don't know what a financial abortion is, pretty much he signs over all his right, including financial responsibility. Now, with that being said, what are y'all answer?
Wait, you said they sign over all their rights?
All their rights, including financial
They can't do that here?
No.
They can't, sign over their rights to their kids, no financial, no seeing them?
You can sign over your legal rights to your child here, but you're still on the hook for child support. Because the child support system here is $57 billion industry, and I figure a lot of those judges, they get a good portion of that going toward their pension. Not to mention that all the jobs that are created within the child support system of that money that pay these caseworkers, that pay this, that pays that. You really think they go allow just a man to just walk in there and say, yeah, you know what, I don't want to pay child support. Hey, let me sign my rights.
Not to mention court fees and all that they also
exactly.
get.
So the industry itself here in the U.S. is too much for them just to let a man walk in and just sign his shit over. They're like, nah, we eating off this too much. No, you go sit here and pay that.
Gotcha.
So what's the question?
The question is, should men have to pay child support for kids they don't want?
I think he should. That's my perspective.
Okay, give us a little more.
Yeah.
I think if you put yourself in a scenario that allowed that to happen, like you're gonna have a child, like there's accountability. I don't think that should be denounced in any way.
Okay, so my question to you is this. You got your Scott Petersons, your Ray Caruths, your... What is open? Yeah, Scott Peterson.
Ray Caruth was a murderer.
Yeah, Scott Peterson did the same thing. He killed Chris Benoit. Because Scott Peterson killed his pregnant wife to be with his girlfriend.
Oh, I remember that.
Because he knew had she divorced him, she would go get half of everything. and he was out here tricking on another chick, and he was like, well, shit, I can't afford her to divorce me, and I can't trick no more, so let me kill her.
I mean, in that case, though, that's his wife.
And then the thing with Ray Caruth was Ray Caruth already had 2 baby mamas in California. So when he finally got that NFL contract and no girl in Tennessee popped up with the baby, he was like, shit, I ain't paying no more child support.
But he had her set up like, and then the kid still lived. So
I don't think that's.
But that was 18 years of child support he didn't pay.
That's not
Salute to you, Ray Caruth.
because he was in jail.
That's not really.
Oh fuck! I'm talking shit. Don't believe it.
I'm
Don't
about to
believe
say,
it.
yet again, his thoughts are his own.
Right.
Let's just go there.
Right.
Shout out to O.J. Simpson.
His
Too less
thoughts-
to worry about. It's like,
His thoughts do not reflect that of everyone on the show.
I would say
No
that,
one except his own.
I'm just
Right.
talking shit.
that's not the
Don't take that
typical scenario though.
No, but
I
even
mean-
I feel like you, like any scenario, like one night stand, like we was together, we not no more. Like you chose to lay down unprotected, woman or man. Like you, the woman, you not on birth control, you not on this. The man, you decided, oh, it feel better, not wrapped up. Fact, but that's not the point.
I'm saying I shouldn't have to
So-
pay 18 years for 35 seconds.
Is it?
35 seconds?
That's it.
Well, you should have made better choices.
He meant the woman. He meant the woman.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying, some of these dudes.
any
I'm just saying,
scenario.
I'm on speaking on behalf of the dudes out here who ain't giving 2 minutes. We giving a minute 15 max.
I
I'm
do think the
just
system.
I'm just saying, like, you chose to do that. Like, the woman, you know you're not on birth control. You know you're not on this. The man, you chose not to wrap it up. Like, anytime you lay down with somebody unprotected, there is a chance a child could come into play. I don't care if it's a one-night stand and you drunk. Leave. Like, why does it have to be, I don't want to pay child support because I didn't want this kid, but you wanted to fuck me, though?
Why I can't put a plan B in your apple juice? I mean, your orange juice.
I mean, if she don't know and it work.
That's
I'm
actually
not saying
in
that's
NFL
wrong.
contracts. That's in high profile contracts where if you are dating someone basically and you sign that contract without reading it in the fine print, basically they're legally allowed to put a plan B inside of your drink. Yeah, if they don't want to
Put plan B all in their orange juice. She ain't even know it.
Yeah, what were you saying, though, about...
Oh, I don't even remember.
You all remember? You had too much of this already? You just...
I'm following the conversation. It escalated
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
quick.
Very quickly, yes. You're basically...
We're going to get monetized. Believe me, they got bleep buttons that clean everything up. Plus, we going on Rumble, and Rumble has no censors.
I guess
Salute the Rumble. YouTube y'all some hoes. Go ahead, continue.
I guess my only thing is, how come our like, if we keep saying we're women, you know, my body, my choice, da 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 da, why does our autonomy stop when we have a baby, but in a negative way? Because my thing is, if a man tells me that he doesn't want to have a family, why would I have his baby?
Easy, because you know you can get that check for the next 18 years.
But that comes everyone so often with a rich dude. I'm talking about regular women who decide, in my opinion,
I know some 40K dudes
who
right now.
decide, in my opinion,
and sleeping in
to
their car
make their
'cause they
lives
paying child
harder.
support.
They decide, in my opinion, to make their lives harder, and for what?
agree.
Like, I understand, you know, religious reasons. If you're Catholic, you know, if you just weren't raised to do that. I get that, but then those are your sole beliefs, so why does someone else have to pay for your beliefs?
Because it goes back to the misandry principle. I'm a woman. I didn't do anything wrong. He a hoe ass nigga for knocking me up and running off. Pay me. I need Section 8. I need stamps. I need his child support. Matter of fact, I need him hopping on one foot singing the national anthem as I kick him in his ass.
Oh my God. But no, that's a serious question. Like, in certain scenarios, I do believe that if you decide to have a baby and a man has expressed his desire to not want that with you, I do feel like that's something that you should take upon yourself.
I think the state of North Carolina owes Ray Caruth a check for those 18 years he sat in prison.
Okay, so let's just backtrack for a second. The original question or the original statement that you made pretty much was that in other countries they give over the rights.
Yeah,
right?
they allow a man
So can you
to
elaborate on that really
Okay,
quick?
they call it a financial abortion. Essentially,
Okay.
they allow a man to sign over his complete rights, meaning that he has no legal rights to the child, so he doesn't pay any child support. He doesn't have any say-so over the child whatsoever. He's completely saying, I want absolutely nothing to do with this situation.
So then does the government come in and provide some type of financial support for this woman?
No, they leave the mother on her own.
Okay.
And can a husband do that to a wife, or is it just like if they're unmarried they could do this?
Right.
Or we don't know the details.
Yeah, that's a good question.
From my understanding of the law in Canada, the way they do it in certain provinces in Canada, even if he's married, he can apply for it, but they kind of leave it in the wife's hands. Now, the way they do it over in the UK and the way they do it over in the EU, there has to be some substantial proof that there was some fraud or deception done by her in order to get him off the hook. Like she lied about being on being on the pill, or she's saying she couldn't.
That's what it sounds like.
You know what I'm saying? Like she couldn't have babies, and next thing you know, she just popped up with a baby, and he like, whoa, you told me you couldn't have no babies. I'm running. Which is
Well, that poses a completely different point.
Well, I wasn't high-fiving, but I actually...
She had a question.
I have a question.
I know,
So my next question, based off of what you just said, is do y'all believe that paternity tests should be mandatory?
absolutely. The
100%.
The minute that baby come out the
100%.
The minute the baby come out the fupa, it need to be swabbed and every nigga in the room too, including the motherfucking doctor, because it might be his.
Exactamente. Yes, I agree with that.
I think they should be mandatory.
Motherfuckers act like doctors ain't out here tricking. I'm just saying, so let's keep it above.
Yeah, just because paternity fraud is a very real thing.
It's been proven here in the U.S. that 1 out of every 3 kids born in the U.S. the father's being fraudulently placed as the father, she's saying he's the daddy, and then come to find out 1 out of 3 kids born in the U.S. he ain't the daddy.
And even after you divorce, or even if you choose not to, they'll still stick that kid on you because you were married.
Because you were married.
Okay.
I don't go after what's best for the child,
you
not
had a baby
what's
with somebody else.
right.
That's not his responsibility. Point blank. Like,
but they'll still stick the guy with it.
That's so wrong.
Just because you were married to him, and they consider it a family dynamic, and that's what's best for the child.
Shout out to Chris Benoit. 2 less to worry about.
Well, I just think that it's a very unique time because a lot of people's income is not matching what they can actually provide in the household. It's taking people longer to build their careers in America. And on average, like in a poor household, pretty much, by the time the kid is 17, you spend somewhere up to like $750,000 to $800,000 by the time they're born, from the time they're 17.
Right.
So
I think your figures are slightly off, because they say to raise a kid in a middle class neighborhood, to raise a kid middle class in America is $275. So I think your numbers are slightly off.
okay, well that's saying like
$5,000?
275 from 0 to 18,
That
275,000.
don't sound like enough. Daycare is expensive.
Yeah, you're paying for every day of that child's life. So even if it's between that amount
Not if
and
you're
the
on
next
Mac and
amount.
B-Wick, you don't pay every day.
Right, so I don't know how
Okay.
much kids are like.
You know what I mean? Kids are...
They're expensive.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's the point. So like, if you that's for one kid,
Don't-
right? Like if
don't.
you have 200.
Is that $275 for one kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
then
multiply that
2
times
kids.
like 2 or 3, then you
And
get to
that's-
that figure.
it's- Like, great example, like rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. You are the ghost, not the GOAT. Get your mind right. The GOAT was Sergeant Willie P. But with that being said, as he broke down, like when you're a man dating a single mom, you realize you walking into, depending on how many kids she got, you may be walking into a $500,000 to $1 million situation. Because if it's $275 to raise one kid middle class, if she got 2 or more kids, now you're talking about $275, $500,000, $250,000. God forbid she got 4 kids. Now you're talking about $1 million investment in this woman.
Yeah, so if you look at the black community, most people are not just having one kid. So that's why it basically
So
came to the
I'm a little lost on
average.
where we're
of-
at in this conversation. So I'll just...
It's
That's you're high.
It's he didn't deny it. He didn't deny it.
for the actual question,
Talk to me.
I'm trying to see where we're at with
Talk
the
to me.
question about with men and the...
Should
If
they
they
pay
should-
for where we're at in the conversation is the financial breakdown itself of what
Exactly.
men are paying for kids, and that's the reason why in most cases most men don't want to pay for kids that they didn't want because they're like, shit, I gotta pay.
I didn't want this kid
200
anyway.
Shit, I gotta pay 200, damn near 300,000 for a kid I ain't want from a bitch I didn't want.
I mean, then why did you sleep with her?
Thank you.
I mean, and
that was
so that's
Because I had $45 and all the rest of the girls was a little more. Shit.
I mean, but wouldn't you want to wrap it up? But wouldn't you want to
Better
wrap it up
job,
though? Like you would want to wrap it up for something that inexpensive. Let's be honest. Like
45.
I mean, like, let's be honest, there's HIV, you got chlamydia. I mean, you have these lifetime ailments that completely physically alter your body.
With that being said, I can shake her like a newborn.
Well, so in the same way you said that about a kid.
His face is priceless. I love it.
He had to get up and leave on that one.
Right. So I'm saying in the same way you see it for like a minute of your time to have a kid, I see it as the same way.
Folks, I think this is the first time outside of church we had a on camera prayer service.
Touch him, Lord.
Oh my God.
I've been touched by an angel, and the charges did stick on her ass too. Fuck you, Delarice.
Oh my God.
I can't.
You gonna hook me up with the white girl, and she touched me in an inappropriate place.
Not touched by an angel.
Yeah, she touched me several times.
Well,
I didn't like it.
Well, I'm gonna add to the conversation. As far as the child support, though, I do think the system could be improved. But I mean,
100%.
but every time it comes to addressing the system, there's always improvements that could be made. So I think that's kind of the contrast as men, like when you're struggling dealing with that, it's like, well, am I gonna be consumed by it? Because like you know where you stand, you understand that you're in a predicament based off your own choices. But it's like, well, now I'm gonna be put in another layer. So I'm like, don't make the choice in the first place.
Exactly.
But couldn't that be said for the woman as well, though?
Exactly.
In the choice to keep a baby by someone that you know doesn't want to be with you and knows doesn't want to raise that child?
But see, most women keep babies out of spite. Oh, nigga, you don't want
I
to be
mean,
with
that's
me?
not
Then guess
most.
what?
I don't.
When you say most,
I mean, I love my
Think about it.
dad.
most of the
If-
women that you know that have kids, did they keep the baby out of spite?
I mean,
Personally, because you saying most, like you know these women.
I mean the case in point, blackdemographics.com, the numbers break down themselves. They say 76% of black babies are born to single mother homes. So
Well, that opens
But that
up the
doesn't-
second question.
Well, that
Who's at
doesn't
fault?
mean that. That doesn't mean that the man didn't want to be there and didn't want to do nothing. Like
I'll be real with
he
you.
could have, he could have been wanting to do it at the beginning and been like, nah, I can't do this no more. Like 6-7 months in, it's like I can't do this no more.
I'll be real with you. You'd be amazed how many women have run great men away from their
And see,
kids.
that's where I was gonna go with that. So, who would you say is at fault for single mother homes? The mother or the father?
I think both.
I think it has to be both. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, because it's like you're basically making all these kids to be unproductive in society when they could easily be productive.
But that's what the system
Unless
is
the
banking
man
on.
chose
They
not to
understand.
either.
You ever heard of the prison? You ever heard the school, the prison pipeline?
Of course.
That's what they're banking on. They're banking on these kids coming from single mother homes, not being shit, and going right into the system to be in these privatized prisons that only makes the people who own the prisons money versus educating these men who can actually be productive.
And we're incentivized to be
Are
single.
you saying that it's their fault?
I think it's the government's fault.
I'm gonna keep it absolute buck. I believe a woman chooses single motherhood. And the reason.
Okay, so I don't necessarily think that a woman look, scientifically there's just things about men and women that will fundamentally never change. A woman is not designed to go and maul a bear, right? So like let's say this is caveman times. Like we weren't going out mauling bears. So why do people think that we were the people who should be taking on the responsibility of a man and a woman?
Easy.
So you have, I'm just going to leave it at this really quick. It's a technological time where the caveman has now been replaced with the nerd, right? Because you're dealing with artificial intelligence, you're dealing with TikTok. Somebody needs to learn how to code, right? So the average man that you're going to choose needs to be brain smart. Like, it's not necessarily about how a man looks anymore. But the point of that is that women, I'm not capping. I mean, no, okay, I am capping. I'm going to put on the cap. I'm going to put on the cap.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for
You
it.
only got 2 left.
I'm just saying from a survival standpoint, some things will never change. You have to have a autonomous home, right? Like, even if you're not going to be together, why can't black families create friendships so that they can be there for their children? And
That's
people are
called
not
co-parenting.
putting their kids first. That's the problem, in my opinion.
Well, I'm gonna address your answer in two parts. First part. Roe v. Wade, yada yada. At the end of the day, if I skeeting you and I tell you I don't want the baby and you say I'm keeping the baby, who is making the choice?
Well, that's a tough question because you put it in first. You put it in first.
Simple yes or no answer.
Okay, okay.
Simple yes or no answer. If I skeeting you, I say shake the baby. You say I'm not getting an abortion. Who made the decision to keep the baby?
You did, because you put your
you
business
skeeted
in.
me. Yeah, it's you.
I'm telling you before the baby get here. I don't want the baby. You
But then
better
why did
off
you
shaking
do it
the
wrong?
baby. Cause I may have wanted a nut. But at the end of
It's
the
all
day,
like-
if I skeeting you and you say my body, my choice, guess what? You made the pimp decision to keep the baby.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We're not
Don't you know
ovens.
that anytime you skeet in a woman, there's
Exactly.
potential of a baby? So you skeeting, just skeeting here, skeeting there, like I don't want the baby, but I'm skeeting you.
Right.
You giving me the damn baby.
Easy.
That's you, homie.
Oh, McDonald's.
Maybe if this was like 1867 where there were no other options. But I just think, and this is what I mean by, if we're supposed to be autonomous in every other decision, I'm independent, I'm this and I'm that, why is it in a case like this where we're having a baby, this is our body that is independent from someone else's body, and they tell us they don't want it? Why is it all of a sudden, but you put a baby in me, you can take the baby out? Like, not saying it like that.
Ooh.
Right.
But aside from like religious, like I understand religious reasons.
No.
I understand that. But I honestly cannot understand
Well, here's the conversation that
keeping
needs to
a
happen.
baby
like
by
well, I don't
someone
want to
who
use a
does
condom.
not want to be a family. I don't get it.
You need to
So
stop.
this is...
I have a, like, here's the deal. Then this is a conversation that needs to happen. Like, I don't want to use a condom. I want to come with you. Well, I don't want to be a single mom stuck with a baby. So,
Or
we
you
not
cannot.
having sex.
Right.
Like,
Don't have sex.
we're not having sex. Like, wrap it up or we're not doing it.
Right.
Because that's not the choice I'm making.
Girl, I
Point
gave-
blank, period.
Girl, I gave you
There's-
the extra 20 to not wrap up. Why you bullshitting?
Don't give a fuck about no extra 20.
Well, here's my question. Cause
Like-
on what you saying.
No, go ahead. You go.
So let's say it is her responsibility. Let's say she has a kid, or whatever. You said nah, whatever. What does a man's responsibility to society become though after that? Like, okay, outside of it, let's say that's true. Like, what's next then?
Now, if he is a man in the embodiment of a man, he's going to be there doing the whole process.
Even though
So-
he don't want it.
Right.
No, but the thing is, if he's a man, he wants it. See, too many of y'all are getting knocked up by niggas who don't want it.
Right.
But
Yeah,
shouldn't that
but
be a
we
conversation
talking
before
off
the
that
sex?
type of dude though, right?
Yeah.
You say you don't want it.
Dude that don't want it, that's what I'm saying. Offer him the financial abortion. Offer him the financial abortion. Offer him that ability to opt out, because guess what?
But
You
she's not. She said not. Like, it's already her responsibility, right? Like,
Because-
she's already like, hey, I'm gonna do this. So as the dude that's like, okay, I'm not having nothing to do with this baby. She said she's gonna do it. What's his responsibility? to
His
society?
responsibility is to make sure that child support is paid every month. Because at that point, she done made the pimp decision that this baby is coming, and your ass finna pay.
I just want to add something really quick. I think men really underestimate how much of our survival is based off of our looks. So I don't think that men really account how much our body breaks down after a baby. And I don't think that men really take into account that it is a gift to make a woman thick. It is a gift, right? Like to bring a woman into womanhood. So if I have a baby, like my boobs are gonna sag, right? Like my butt is gonna be a little bit heavier to carry around. And so I think what men are doing is treating kids like some accessory. Like some guys will just trap a girl because of the way she looks. But I have more energy. Then you gotta think about
She is my captain.
you gotta think about postpartum depression. The government doesn't give money towards that.
More women trap more men than
But
anything.
that's
Let's keep
not
it
all
above.
black women. Let's be honest.
I guess
I'm not
Well, I
saying
don't even think it's
all.
most.
I grew up
I don't
with
even think it's
two-parent
most.
household. I grew up with with two parents in a very healthy environment. So that is not all of us.
But
I
see,
grew up
and
on
I
the
love
west.
every
I
one
grew
of
up around
us.
I grew up on the west side of Detroit, surrounded by drug dealers, factory workers, and
Right.
and motherfuckers who
And
couldn't
nobody's
count to
negating
100.
that.
But I think that's the difference. You just pointed out the difference. Like, you grew up in a 2-parent household with a father and a mother who both agreed to be there. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My parents have been married 40 years. Me personally, and this ties into my first question or the first topic, marry before you carry. Why would you, as a woman who is autonomous over your body, you're independent, why would you choose to have a child by someone who has probably already shown indications that they would not be a father?
Great example.
Period.
Black demographics.
That's a good question.
Great example. Blackdemographics.com.
And you shouldn't.
You have, and like I said, you go right to their website, blackdemographics.com. The numbers show within our community you have more women who have kids than men. So you know what that means? You have women having kids by a small number of men.
Yeah,
within
20% of the
community.
men have about 80% of the kids.
Exactly.
I want to add another. I think that you could flip the question. Like, well, then should a woman put child support on a man that she knows that doesn't want the child? Like,
Most cases they do.
but I mean, to what you're
But
saying.
but he's saying, should she?
Well, because she's saying like, well, if women have autonomy, I think that's another way you can kind of flip the question. Like,
Well,
Like, well,
that's
don't put him on
exactly
child
where I'm
support.
coming from. It's if
Don't
you're
put him on
supposed to be
child support.
independent and autonomous, why all of a sudden are you helpless when you decide to have a child by someone
Easy.
who has already shown
Easy.
that they are not a parent?
Right,
Easy,
like I'm
'cause
not
it's
a
two
fashion
things.
model.
One
I'm not
is
just
the-
gonna be having kids with just anybody.
Yeah,
Like I
right.
make a living
You gonna
off
find
of
you a
how
high
I
value
look.
male. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels.
Right, but it's like you make a living off how you look. So I'm really like clocking who I plan to have a baby with.
I'm
Like,
glad
it
I don't
needs
make
to
a
be-
living off how I look, cause shit, I wouldn't make
But
a
that's
dime.
Ladies, this is for all the ladies who are watching.
Yes.
If you forget to take pills, if you can't do the patch because it's not cute, there's this thing called an IUD. You could put it in, it lasts for anywhere between 3 to 10 years, and it will prevent you from having any unwanted pregnancy.
Or you can do like
Protect
Corey Holcomb
yourselves.
said, sit in the hot tub and drink champagne.
Protect yourselves. That's what
Because
that means.
first and
Yes.
foremost, if we are independent, autonomous women, the first and best thing that we can do is protect ourselves and
Yes.
believe in family planning ourselves. So that's just my little PSA.
Right.
Okay.
This is our soft girl era too. Like, you know, you don't always need to be independent.
Shout out
And
to the soft girl era. You know
All
what
that.
I'm
I'm like, that's a whole
You know,
nother topic.
always-
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's
that's a whole nother topic.
all that young,
feminine
all that,
energy,
all
like,
that
I
young
don't
nigga,
know.
nigga that cooperate don't work.
My thing
But we-
is, I don't believe in any of that shit. Either you're a feminine woman from day one or you're not. It's not one of those things where you need to be coerced or the right man, whatever. It's, are you a feminine woman or are you not?
And see, that's the funniest
It's
thing.
true.
That's the point Myron always make on Fresh and Fit. It's like, okay, you can't say, oh, I'm feminine for the right man when on the weekends I'm wearing heels, but Monday through Friday I'm this manly man.
Oh, no.
If you see me on Saturday in heels, guess what you gonna look at me as?
That manly man.
Shit.
No. If a man is around, I have no arms.
Shit.
Can you help me?
If I got 2 cats.
I don't think that's a good thing, folks.
No arms.
What time we got?
It's not.
4 minutes. 4 minutes, motherfuckers! But, yes, I'm gonna do that every time it's 4 minutes left in the show. Get used to it. But with that being said, 4 minutes left in the show. I'm gonna let. Okay, well, closing shots. And closing shots.
Well, these are gulps at this point because it's champagne and not hard liquor.
Champagne.
Champagne. Chalupa quesadilla burrito.
No saltado.
So
Salud.
Salute
closing shots, everybody. You know, speak your mind.
to all the babies and their mamas.
And their fathers. Fathers are so important. That's my closing
They are
point.
Very, very much
Fathers,
so.
I think that I'm learning that women can be very toxic, like you're saying. And I think that
Very
really
true.
women and men naturally balance each other out. That's what I personally think. I don't think that I can live this life just trying to like provide for myself, let alone a child. And I just want to give a shout out to all the fathers out there because you are important and you deserve
are.
healing and you are emotionally intelligent. You are not stupid and don't ever let anybody tell you any different. We
Very
need
true.
you. You are royalty.
Tony,
To the kings.
En las
Tony.
reinas también.
You, Tony?
Oh no, I agree with you. Like, I was raised by two strong, beautiful black parents. My dad, one thing I do want to touch on really quick, and I know this is off topic, but this whole a man has to make a certain amount of money thing. My father bust his ass working a factory job, and he is the best, most caring, best provider. My mom didn't work for a majority of my life. So for all you women out here thinking that because you make a certain amount of money, you just automatically deserve this man who makes another amount of money, work with that man. Build that man up. Support that man. Quit making every fucking thing about you. Sometimes he's gonna have a bad day. The same way you want to walk in the house and, spoil me, I had a bad day. Do that for him because he has a bad day too. We're all people and we all have feelings. So quit fucking making it about you. That's all I want to say in that regard.
All right. Final thoughts. Like Tony said earlier, women, let's protect ourselves. No matter what that means. If something's not working, find something else. Patch, IED, pill, something, whatever.
Champagne hot tub.
And then my other last thought kind of goes back to what Algo was saying. Like, if you know that, you're not going to be in a relationship with somebody, but y'all have a child, y'all don't necessarily have to be friends, but co-parent. Like, do what's best for that child. Like, it's not about, when the child comes, it's not about you. It's not about her or him. Like, it's about that child flourishing and being a good citizen of society, basically. So put your differences aside. Like, it don't matter how you feel about who else come in or on his side or her side. Fuck all that. About that child, do what you got to do. Co-parent, be cordial, whatever it means. But that child is the most important thing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, I think accountability goes both ways. But as a man, I tend to address myself first, and that's where I'm coming from. And I just think at all times, just find different ways you can work on yourself. At Cloud9 Psyche.
Yes, and Algo Brihani, ALGOBREHANE.
At Stony Childs, no underscores, no special characters.
Don't ask me. I don't do social media.
All right. My final thoughts are, first things first, rest in peace, Chris Benoit. You the only uncle that I never knew. Nah, fuck with you. But all jokes aside, too many kids are born within our community that doesn't have the family dynamic. And the family dynamics is a father and a mother. So I get the whole thing of, okay, well, me and my BM, that's why you should make sure she is a chick you want to make a lifetime investment in, which is ring, owl, all that shit, before you have a baby by a woman. Now, that's where I will put the accountability on us as men. Too many of us are having babies by women that we don't even fucking like, let alone want to give the next 18 to 21, because depending on what state you in, 18 to 21 years.
No, it's even longer than that because you got graduations, weddings.
That's what I'm saying. Like, depending on what state you in,
Depending on what state you in. 26.
Yeah,
Think
You still
it
gotta
through.
see him. Yeah.
a child is a
Yeah.
lifetime commitment. So too many men are having women with too many men are having kids with women that they don't like and don't really want to be in a room with more than 2.5 minutes, let alone have to be in her life for 21, let's say 21 years, depending on the state. But also, with that being said, Scott Peterson had the right idea. He just the wrong execution.
Oh my God.
He shouldn't have did it himself. Scott, you had too much money. You should have hired a hitman. You see, OJ had his son do it, but Simpson DNA.
Rest in peace, Lacey.
Lacey, what? You're right.
Peterson.
His name was Lacey Peterson. My bad. Yeah, I wonder if the family will come after my ass. Wait, retract everything I just said. Rest in peace, Lacey Peterson. Scott, you are a piece of shit. But with that being said,
Free
this
liquor.
episode of Free Liquor, and remember, eat 14 dicks on a rainy Tuesday. Y'all have a good night.
It's healthy for you.
We are going to hell.
We are not going to hell.
Estoy bromeando.
I might be going, but I don't know about y'all.
In a handbasket.
He showed like Ben's basket.